Meet John and Brittany. By pretty much every measure, these two are doing things right. They both went to college, both have stable careers. John brings in around $85,000 a year, and Brittany earns $72,000. Together, they're clearing over $150,000 annually, which puts them comfortably in the American middle class. They own a home, they drive reliable cars, they take a vacation or two every year. From the outside, their life looks solid, responsible, like they figured it out. But here's what's actually happening every single month. Despite earning really good money, they feel stuck. Their bank account barely moves. Saving feels slow, investing feels like something they'll get to eventually. And retirement still feels like a distant, abstract concept. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Because what John and Brittany are experiencing has a name. Economists call it the middle class wealth trap, and it affects millions of households across the country. My name is Mary. I started this channel because I wanted to bring a calm, female voice into the finance space on YouTube. If you've spent any time looking around, you've probably noticed that most finance channels are run by men, and that's totally fine. But personal finance affects everyone. My goal here is simple: break down money, investing, and financial psychology in a way that's clear and honest so that regular hardworking people can stop spinning their wheels and actually start building real wealth over time. If that's something you're working toward, hit subscribe, because that's exactly what we talk about on this channel. All right, back to John and Brittany. Here's the thing that trips people up first. Their problem is not that they don't earn enough. The median household income in the United States sits at around $83,700, according to the United States Census Bureau. John and Brittany are earning nearly double that. So by any reasonable measure, the money coming in should be more than enough. So why do they still feel financially stuck every month? Because income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is what flows in, wealth is what you actually keep. And that distinction, that gap between earning money and building it, is exactly where the middle class trap begins. Most middle class households build their financial lives around three things: a house, cars, and a lifestyle that quietly expands as income grows. None of those things are bad on their own, but together they create a really dangerous pattern, a system where money flows in on the first of the month and flows almost entirely back out before the month is over. Think about it: mortgage, car payments, insurance, childcare, utilities, subscriptions, vacations, groceries, healthcare, taxes. By the time you work through that list, most of the paycheck is already gone, and there's very little left to actually build anything with. Here's a number that surprises a lot of people. Depending on the survey, roughly 60% of Americans report living paycheck to paycheck, and many of those households aren't struggling in the traditional sense. They're middle class, working full-time, earning decent salaries, just financially fragile. Now here's another number worth sitting with. According to the Federal Reserve's survey of consumer finances, the median net worth of middle-income households is around $162,000. And that's everything combined: home equity, savings, retirement accounts, investments, all of it. On the surface, that might sound okay, but spread that across 30 or 40 working years, it starts to look a lot thinner, especially when most people are quietly hoping to retire with $1 million or more. That gap between what people expect and what they've actually built, that's where the frustration lives. That's the trap. And here's the thing about the trap. It doesn't usually happen overnight. It sneaks up on you. Psychologists call it lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, your spending tends to grow right along with it. A slightly nicer house, a slightly newer car, a slightly more comfortable version of everyday life. None of those individual decisions feel reckless. In the moment, they feel earned. But collectively, they quietly consume the exact money that could have been building wealth. This is where wealthy households tend to do something different, and it's not as complicated as people think. The middle class, by and large, builds its financial life around income. The wealthy build theirs around assets. Assets are things that either grow in value or produce income over time. Stocks, businesses, real estate, investments. Over time, those assets start generating more money than a salary alone ever could. And that's when wealth really begins to take off. But for most middle-class households, money flows toward things that don't grow. Cars lose value the moment you drive them off the lot. Consumer purchases evaporate. Even homes, while valuable, tend to appreciate slowly compared to long-term market investments. Let me show you what I mean with a simple example. Imagine someone puts $500 a month into a basic standard 500 index fund. Nothing fancy, no stock picking, just consistent automatic investing. Historically, the United States stock market has averaged somewhere around 9 to 10% annual returns over long periods. At that rate, investing $500 a month consistently for 25 to 30 years could grow to roughly $1 million or more. And here's the part that really gets people. To reach that number, they only personally contributed around $200,000. The rest, that came from compound growth, from time doing its quiet, powerful thing in the background. But here's the real problem. Most middle-class households never actually free up that $500 because their financial structure is already locked in tight. Mortgage, cars, bills, lifestyle. There's no obvious room. And so the brain says something dangerous. I'll start investing later. Later turns into next year turns into 5 years, and those 5 years quietly strip away some of the most valuable compounding time you'll ever have. There's also something psychological going on beneath all of this. Your brain is wired to prefer visible success over invisible progress. A new car is visible, people notice it, a bigger house is visible, nice clothes, nice vacations, all of it is visible. There's social feedback, there's recognition, but investments, you deposit money into an account and nothing happens. No applause. No one compliments your index fund at dinner, just quiet, invisible growth. And because our brains are built to chase immediate rewards, we almost always default toward the lifestyle upgrade instead of the long-term investment. This is why the middle-class trap is so persistent. It's not laziness, it's not a lack of intelligence. It's a financial system and a psychological system working together, both quietly pointing you toward spending today rather than building for tomorrow. But here's what I really want you to take from this. Escaping the trap doesn't require some dramatic life overhaul. You don't need to cut everything. You don't need to move into a tiny house or give up your morning coffee. It often starts with one small habit: automation. Instead of waiting to see what's left at the end of the month and then maybe investing it, you flip the order. You invest first, even if it's just $100 a month to start. That single change creates a completely new financial structure. Investing becomes the default, not the afterthought, and your spending adjusts around it over time. That small shift, just that one, can begin quietly, redirecting your entire financial future. The middle class isn't doomed. But it does face a real structural challenge in the system rewards spending. Culture rewards looking wealthy, and building actual wealth requires patience with almost no external reward for years. The households that escape the trap tend to share one quiet habit. They choose to live slightly below their income, and they invest the difference, not perfectly, not aggressively, just consistently. Because the real secret to building wealth almost never looks dramatic from the outside. It's quiet, it grows slowly. It doesn't get a lot of attention, and then one day, after years of patience, it becomes something genuinely powerful. So let me ask you something. Do you think the middle class is truly trapped? Or do you think small, consistent changes in habits can break the cycle? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you want to keep learning how ordinary people quietly build real wealth over time, make sure you subscribe. That's what this channel is all about, decoding how money actually works without the noise. If you're ready to start investing, check the description below. I've listed a few trusted brokers that people in both the US and Canada actually use. Thanks for watching. Heads up, you can change your life.